see the character and the culture shine through in their cars. Like 90s Hondas are just, they have this like 1997 Honda Civic Type R EK9 generation, the first Civic to get the Type R treatment, but not the first Type R ever. There was the NSX, which is the first. Second was the Integra. This was number 3. Now, for those who've been watching the channel, I actually reviewed an EK9 just like this out in Japan on Hakone Skyline with Mount Fuji in the background. If you haven't seen that, you want to see it, link below. But I want to see how this example fares. We're in America driving this right-hand JDM vehicle that, of course, had to be imported. And how does it feel on our roads of freedom? Now, with the Type R treatment, we have reduced sound deadening, seam-welded steel monocoque chassis, lightweight Recaro buckets, shift knob, a Momo wheel with this red Honda badge in the middle. It looks great. Custom Type R gauges and floor mats and door cards. We got double wishbone front and rear, a front helical LSD as well, 103-inch wheelbase, which is actually a few inches longer than the DC2 Type R, even though that vehicle is longer overall. The wheels here are further out. There's less overhang compared to the DC2. We're weighing in right around 2,300 pounds. Market value in the US right now is about 20 to 45K depending on mileage and condition. A DC2 Integra is actually a little bit cheaper, a few $1,000s cheaper if you were to import it. If you were to get a USDM DC2 Integra, that's actually going to be substantially more. That's like in the 40K range. And then you don't have to deal with the import headache and you have a left-hand drive vehicle and all that stuff. In terms of mods, we have Cusco Clutch, KTS Flywheel, Koyo Type S Radiator, Mugen Twin Loop Exhaust, Ohlins HAL DFV coilovers, Project Mu brake pads, and we still have the OEM wheels wrapped in RE71 RS rubber. That's 205 section width. I love the look of this interior. The red cloth Recaro buckets. We've got a 5-speed manual transmission that's connected with rod linkages rather than the cable linkages you see in modern front-wheel drive Hondas. That makes this have such a great direct feel, and just love these older Honda transmissions. They're such money. Ergonomically, if you're taller like me, I'm 6'1", you're not gonna have a good time. I'm super far stretched out. The seat bolstering on the bottom here is very aggressive. On the back, it's actually far more reasonable, but for the thighs, very aggressive, too much so. Not tall person friendly, but if you're a bit smaller, then that's not going to be an issue. The owner, Bethany, actually had teen coilovers before, but now with these Ohlins, it should be a pretty substantial upgrade. No torque down low, and then you hit VTEC, and it just screams and builds as you go closer and closer to that 8,400 RPM red line. Wow, what a car. Even back then, I compared this to modern Porsches with the naturalness of all the inputs. Even back then, Honda had this dialed. Obviously, ergonomically not ideal, but in terms of the actual weighting and calibration of each input, impeccable, dude, impeccable. No learning curve to heel toe. Steering ratio, of course, a bit slower. It's of the era, but it just feels congruent with all the other inputs. You have longer throws, more distance with the steering, more distance with the pedals. Hydraulic power assist steering. Not super feelsome, and even with this, you know, this steel welded monocoque chassis to increase rigidity, you can tell that yes, in the 90s they didn't quite have the same chassis technology as more than 2 decades later. But at only 2,300 pounds, man, this car feels alive, especially when you get it past 5,500 into VTEC. Let's give you a pull. Not sure what happened with the speed Oh, there we go. We're going back to... Got some issues there. That's all right. There's a bit of slop to the wheel. Right off center. Low to moderate amount of slop. Hydraulic steering, giving you a little bit of feedback. And a pretty responsive front end. Again, it's so light, and we have double wishbone. You don't see that in modern Hondas. What a joy to use this transmission as well. It just, Usually front-wheel drive vehicles have cable linkages, and then you lose out on a lot of the feel, the directness. And here with the rod linkage, you retain that. Honda transmissions are my favorite. LSD helping us claw for grip. No issues with the Torquester because it has no torque. Only 118 pound-foot. Oh, listen to it build and sing. It's a fun, buzzy little 4-cylinder. There's a little bit of crashiness still to the suspension. But I'm sure this is a lot better than what the owner was running before with the teen coilovers. You still have great chassis communication, and you can feel the weight transfer. It's not too twitchy. It's a very small car, but remember the wheelbase, 103 inches, is longer than you'd expect. And at only 2,300 pounds, this is a featherweight by modern standards. Absolute featherweight. Oh yes, you can really feel the weight transfer, help it to rotate. Oh my god, this car is incredible, guys. It's like, it's not just performance, it is not just numbers, it's how a car makes you feel and what a car encourages you to do as a driver. And what I mean by that is, when you have excellent inputs, when you have great fundamentals, a good chassis, double wishbone suspension, all four corners, a special engine that encourages you to rev it out. It's a feature, not a bug. The fact that it has no low down torque changes your behavior as a driver. It encourages you to rev it out. And as a result, this car is such a riot, dude. Less than 200 horsepower, and you get more smiles, greater enjoyment, more laughs than cars that have twice the power. Lightweight, good inputs, characterful engine. It's just a beautiful recipe. I've now been to Japan 3 times, and I just love the focus of the Japanese people on the details. There's this high degree of conscientiousness and wanting to perfect the craft and taking pride in your work, no matter what it is. No job is below you. You do it to the best of your ability. And you see the character and the culture shine through in their cars. Like 90s Hondas are just, they have this like fine calibration to the inputs. They have this character to the engine. Just the details of how pleasant the transmission is to use between gears. You just want to roll the gears even when you don't need to, just for fun. It's excellent. And it's funny because I used to be one of those people when in the 90s and in the 2000s, before, when I was a kid, well before I could drive, I would just watch videos and read things, and I was all about drifting back then. And I thought that because it's a front-wheel drive vehicle and you can't drift and you can't get power-induced rotation, then it's just not as good of a car. But now, after driving more and more of these cars, I definitely have a soft spot for these vehicles, for the EK9, for the DC2. In fact, the DC2 The one we reviewed right up here, both on track and on street, you can find links to both of those videos down in the description. That's probably my all-time favorite, with the EK9 being a close second. Big shout out to the owner Bethany for letting me review her car. Thanks to Fenton from the Zygoon channel for making this review possible. My friends, if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Much love, and I'll see you all in that next one.